Alright guys, welcome back to another Opera Omnia video where we're going to be talking about my top 10 JP characters for the year of 2022. Now these characters at some point during this year did receive a rework. They received a BT rework and or they have gotten their brand new FR or BT weapons. Now these are not going to be in order. This is not like a tier list per se. Like this is just me talking about my top 10 favorite characters. There will be some honorable mentions toward the end of this video because obviously I can't fit every single character who has gotten any type of change this year, because like most of the characters, especially those who have FR boards, they have become such stronger characters that like it's almost like you can't use them for like every single fight. And like for the limited amount of fights that we do have in JP, which is between 4 to 5 events, depending on the month, you know, there's not a lot of time to actually use a lot of these characters unless you want to repeat this stage over and over and over. So this is just from my experiences using said characters for certain fights, experimenting, you know, so on and so forth. Just things in general, like to like overall like make me consider that these top 10 characters are in my own top 10. So again, this is not a tier list. This is not me like saying like, oh, like you should go for these characters because they're like extremely good or whatever. This is just like I'm going to explain my reasoning and let you guys know why they are in my top 10. So let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, do all that good stuff. And of course, a shout out to all of my YouTube members for the continuous support. And of course, if you do want to support the channel, you can click the first link down in the description of this video for details on how to become a member. So we're going to start off with the king himself, which is going to be Noctis. Noctis, the latest rework that he actually got increases damage output by such a big amount, and my god, it is so freaking noticeable that it is awesome. Like I loved it. He did get some self-aura improvements, so like break points he increased. Some of his own like personal auras got increased as well to meet the day-to-day Shinryu fights that we have been dealing with for the past few months. So like overall, like it's helped him out greatly. His BT rework is really good in my opinion because they increased the follow-up damage that he gains while his BT effect is active. So now it deals 4 HP attacks in total, and they also added a 30% HP damage kappa, which is kind of normal for most BT effects nowadays on JP for any like character who's gonna get a BT rework, or any new character or any character who is gonna be getting a BT weapon. Most of the time, or more than likely, you will have an HP damage cap increase for the party. And then when it comes to his FR conditions, they are pretty easy to meet in my opinion. So like the first one being that you need to have like turn manipulation, aka the buff that he provides via his LD ability, his warp step. So like as long as you have that back to back, you're good to go. With his LD ability, it did get an increase in HP attacks. So like, hey, you're good to go on that. Like Noctis will easily be able to continue to provide that warp step as his force ability is active. And then the second one being that as long as the character has like a buff or a special effect that has some type of like level on it, so just basically anything that has like some stacks on it, you will meet his second condition. So overall, the king himself, he is right there in my top 10 as to a very strong destructive character, and I can appreciate it, especially being a fan of FF15. Yeah, very much appreciative of what he actually has gotten. Now for Kurasame, he got some big improvements in my opinion, and my god is he so freaking good. So his self-aura improvements, big change to his kit. I appreciate that. His follow-up damage got increased, so his follow-up damage deals more HP dumps in total, so happy with that. His FR conditions are easy to meet as long as you have set debuff that he inflicts onto the enemy. You'll be good to go. And then the other one, I believe, is to deal ice brave damage, which Kurasame is able to provide to the party. his BT provides up to a 50% HP damage cap up. So normally you start off with the 30%, but you do gain an additional 20% to total at 50% whenever you are attacking a target with that debuff that he inflicts, and it is at 5 stacks. Then you get a 50% HP damage cap up, which is nasty. And also, while his BT effect is active, enemies cannot increase Brave whatsoever, and it is actually a pretty convenient BT effect to have, which makes me appreciate him a whole lot more. I have been using him a whole lot more in Shinryu fights, and definitely worth a character to look into in the future. But he's made it into my top 10 for his damage output, for what he provides to the party, his like overall utility. Like he is a strong character, and it's one to definitely keep a lookout for in the future for those who are taking this as like a way to plan your pulls and whatnot on global. Next up is going to be Aerith and General Leo. Now, Aerith, her FR Echo makes it easy for HP damage bonus increase. So her FR Echo has instant turn rate, whether you have her on the team or you are going to use her as a friend support or a non-friend support. Taking advantage of her easy increase to increase the HP damage bonus. A lot of JP players started doing that recently, and it has actually been a nice add-on to the percentage. So like overall, like taking advantage of her and her instant turn rate can actually be beneficial. And just like in general, like any FRs that do have instant turn rate whenever you use their FRs can actually be a good thing if you use it correctly. Now, she is the first BT to actually have no turns. So literally, there's no turns on it. That BT effect will remain active until anybody on the team either goes down or their HP falls below 50% or below. So like, it's a very, very good BT effect in my opinion. The other thing is that it also provides her with an overhead. Now this overhead has a value to it which can go up to 200k, and to increase it you have to pretty much just heal the party. Every time that somebody heals, it will increase her overhead up to that stack. Once as it progresses, that actually contributes to a follow-up attack, and whenever it reaches 4 stacks on her overhead, it actually deals a very strong attack afterwards, and it can actually get affected by force. So yes, I mean that damage output that additional damage output that you can gain out of Aerith is actually really, really good. The other thing is she also gets herself, and I did a typo right there, I apologize. The other thing is the gold framed buff. So the gold frame buff, what that provides is literally it makes everybody like not take any brave damage or any HP damage whatsoever. The thing about it is that it only lasts for 4 turns, but if you time it correctly, and if you did manage to use her FR Echo beforehand, then that buff will last a little bit longer, because that way you're not going to be wasting your turns, and you're going to lose out on 2 to 3 turns on her on that gold frame buff. So overall, like Aerith, very, very good character. BT is nasty. Really love it. Like, she provides good support and whatnot. She has a way to be able to make it so that you don't get afflicted by debuffs, and also it makes it so that the enemies are just not gonna have a good time while Aerith is on the team or in the field. So like in general, fantastic unit, definitely worth pulling for. I mean, yeah, that's really all I can say about Aerith. Now for General Leo. His base rework is disgusting. Like, it's really, really good. Like, they literally made this man, for him being a character that solely focuses on single target, they made him very, very, very good. And it's a character to definitely not overlook. Like, when you compare him and Noctis, they do have their differences, which we'll get into here in just a second. But like, General Leo becomes a much stronger character. Now his FR is focused on single targets, so pretty much whenever you are attacking a character with his precision strike debuff, it will increase the HP damage bonus. And I believe his other one, if I'm not mistaken, is to deal melee damage, I think. No, just dealing a single target attack. So basically, as long as you're attacking somebody with that precision strike debuff, and it's a single target, you are using a single target attack, then you would be increasing the HP damage bonus while his FR is active. So it is a very good FR to actually have for those specific type of fights. Now his BT provides him with a follow-up that triggers after every party member's turn, that so long as you are attacking an enemy with that precision strike debuff, and it really does add up. His follow-up does get affected by force, so I mean, like, that's just easy additional damage that you can get out of General Leo. So as you can see, like I mentioned, him and Noctis, like, yeah, they do have follow-ups and whatnot, but the difference is that with Noctis, you don't have to have any type of debuff or anything to trigger the follow-up, because Noctis will always, his follow-up will always go off after every party member's turn. But with General Leo, he is more so focused for single target, but you can actually make him work with multiple enemies. But you have to, like, in a way, like, make sure that, in a way, like, you have to play slightly differently, but you can actually make it work. But yeah, you do have to attack said target with that precision strike debuff, so that way you can trigger his follow-up. So in general, though, General Leo, so worth picking up his F4 and BT. I'm glad that I did. He is extremely good. He becomes so destructive, and with the additional, like, fixed damage that he provides as well, is going to be additional damage that will benefit the team. So definitely worth picking up later down the line. Next up, we'll look into Aerith and Quina. Now, Aerith, she has the most broken EX ability in the game. Basically, she is able to copy whatever damage her previous teammate did. So let's say, for example, Tifa, she did up to 50 mil in damage. Well, guess what? Aerith is literally able to copy that and add an additional amount of damage to that. So yeah, the most broken EX ability in the game. I don't know what Square Enix was thinking, but, like, you know what? I don't care. Like, it's it is so much fun to take advantage of that crazy amount of damage and add some more to it. She does have turn manipulation, so she, with certain abilities, she is able to bring a teammate behind her. Her FR conditions ain't too bad to meet. Her BT sets enemies attack, defense, and max brave down to 0. And actually, it may not sound like all that on paper, but this BT effect has actually benefited a lot of characters after her release, and, like, it makes me, like, appreciate Aerith more as a character, because, like, you can actually take advantage of this BT effect and take advantage of specifically the max brave being at 0, because, like, you can easily break the enemies. You don't have to worry about them gaining any type of brave, because literally she sets it right back to 0. So, like, her and Dorgon would actually be a nasty pair, a nasty combo to put together in a team. So, like, aside from the party ores and everything that she provides, like, just that specific line right there is, like, fantastic to actually have. So, like, Aerith is a character that I would be pulling for again on global, and she is 100% worth pulling for. Now, Quina, probably the most busted BT effect in the game, and Quina's skill 1 becomes insane. So with this BT effect makes it so that as long as you have literally the value of 0 or any amount of brave, you will deal the highest potential HP damage cap up damage that you can possibly deal. It doesn't matter if you have literally 0 brave, you will still deal the highest amounts of damage possible per HP attack. It is the most broken BT ability in the game. Now, the BT effect is short at 5 turns, but still, you can take advantage of that and still it's just that freaking good. Like, if you don't look at it and if you set up properly, like, you can take advantage of Quina's BT effect and literally destroy and not have to worry about anything. Like, yeah, like, it's like, oh, the enemies, they want to reduce the amount of brave that you gain. Oh, they want to reduce your max brave cap. It doesn't even matter. Quina will literally just make things a joke to the enemy, because the enemy's gonna be like, what the hell's going on? It's that freaking good. Quina's skill 1 becomes insane as well, because while you have the BT effect active, it literally becomes a destructive skill 1, and it can deal damage. It can definitely deal a whole lot of damage. It does have Quina does provide a great preemptive trap, and it is able to, aside from like the fact that Quina does have rainbow is able to deal rainbow brave damage via the overhead. Yeah, it's a very convenient trap to have, and that is from Quina's LD ability. Good party auras, the rainbow damage again, rainbow brave damage via the overhead is good to have, but it is for Quina, just for Quina, and that's it. And then the FR conditions are very easy to meet, nothing too crazy. You need to have Quina's overhead at 10 stacks, and I believe the other one is to have, let's see, oh, it's to deal 9,999 in brave damage. So like overall, Quina is probably one of the most destructive characters to have on your team, and yeah, you can deal a lot of crazy crap with that BT effect. So yes, once again, and like if you want to talk about meta, like that's your character right there. Next up is Rem and Paine. So Rem, stronger support. Really appreciate the support that she provides to the party when it comes to healings, when it comes to the party auras, when it comes to the fact that she is able to manipulate the turn order and whatnot. Really appreciate that. Her FR is definitely more so for herself. So when we take a look at her FR, the conditions for it is going to be after any party member action, whenever the party member grants brave to an ally. The other one is after own action, when self grants brave to an ally, and then the other one is whenever a party member's brave is above 20% after turn. So like it's definitely more so for her because she can pretty much meet all of those conditions. Obviously there are other characters that can do the same thing as well, but like her FR is definitely more so for herself. The party, when it comes to her BT effect, so the party literally becomes immortal and does so much more. So some of the other things to note, aside from being immortal from incoming attacks, is that after Rem's turn passes, she makes everybody's EX ready to be used, which is kind of convenient, especially when you take a look at characters like Aerith and you have Rem doing like a good amount of damage. Well, guess what? Aerith is able to copy and add a little bit more to it. And that's like an example, you know? Of course, there are other EX abilities with different characters that is able to dish out a whole lot more damage or do whatever it is that it does. Aside from that, she provides great party auras. Whenever healed at full HP, it changes the healing to Brave Recovery instead, which is great. And then during every HP attack, this is for the party by the way, during every HP attack, recovers Brave to self equal to 50% of Rem's max Brave. So yeah, fantastic party auras, and the fact that you become immortal, you ain't gotta worry about jack. So Rem becomes such a stronger support, and hey, definitely I'm glad that I pulled for her FR and BT. Very, very good overall. Now when it comes to Paine gets much higher damage output, so she gains more HP attacks in her kit, so on and so forth. Her FR conditions are very easy to meet, so when you take a look at it, let me switch over to the page real quick. After party action, whenever a party member attacks with the status break debuff inflicted onto the enemy. The other one is after party turn, while party has any buff or special effect at least level 0, so basically any type of buffs that has like stacks and whatnot. And then after party action, whenever the party buff count / enemy debuff count is at least 10 once per turn. So the conditions are pretty easy to meet, and they're not hard to do, especially with Paine. You pretty much like working around her to, depending on like where you have her in the team setup. You will have either like more buffs, more debuffs, so on and so forth, or you can have a mix of both if you put her in the middle. She does have a very good BT effect that further increases the support and makes it a worse time for the enemies. So like she is able to provide a buff to your teammates, and she is also able to consistently inflict HP silence. Now HP silence, this will trigger for those who are on the left side of Paine, and then with the buff that she provides, it makes it so that said character, depending on the stacks that it is at, will have instant turn rate, but it does consume said stacks. But like it kind of like in a way like cycles through with said buffs. So like in general, like you're still going to benefit from Paine, regardless, not regardless, but you're still going to benefit from her if you do have Paine in the middle, which is where I typically have her, because like I want to take advantage of like how she affects the enemy, and at the same time the benefits that we actually gain out of having the benefits that we gain while having her in the party. So like Paine becomes such a stronger character overall. Like with the damage output, with her BT effect, like yeah, it becomes like so much better, and it's a character that I will be pulling for the FR and BTs again, because like it just becomes in a way, like it makes it so that the enemies are just going to be more annoyed with you because of what she does. Another thing before we move on is that she does inflict an HP poison based on 150% of the holder's attack, and it can actually increase, or depending on the position that you have Paine. If you have her on the middle, then it will be like it will be based on 1000% of the holder's attack, and then if you have her on the far right, and it'll be 15,000. So yeah, that HP poison can be pretty potent. Sadly, it does not get affected by the force, but it is still additional damage that you can get out of Paine. So like overall, fantastic unit, great to pair up in a lot of parties, and with FR Echo, it just adds more to it and whatnot. So like very much worth a character to consider picking up later down the line. And then finally, we're gonna talk about Ace and Rubicante. Now, Ace, like I talked about in the video going over how I felt about him with his rework and whatnot not too long ago, Ace gained some higher damage output. Like his skills and whatnot like deal so much damage, it's crazy. His BT trap attack rework is insane. Like it does damage. Like they decided to really rework that really hard and really well. His FR conditions are a little on the low end, but like when you think about it though, taking a look at his traps and whatnot, the traps depending on the amount of enemies that you are actually going up against, will trigger constant over and over and over. Again, just depending on how many enemies that you're going up against. Like, yeah, I know that people are gonna mention, and people might call me crazy thinking that like, why would you put Ace in top 10 because his traps is doo-doo. Well, it's not always about the traps. Like, it's not like, you also got to think about like everything else about his kit. And then like when you actually like look at it and you see like the strong damage output that you can get out of Ace, regardless of his traps not gaining any additional HP attacks, like like all those traps damage, they do stack up when going up against multiple enemies. So like you do gain a 5% increase whenever those traps do go off. And then the other one is after party turn, while party has any buff or special effect at least at level 0, then it increases by 40%. So again, Ace is more so for going up against multiple enemies and whatnot. So like when it comes to if you put the traps, the whole trap ordeal to the side, like his like overall kit in general has become so much better, and because of that, I put him in my top 10 just because like it's for what he does and for what he offers. I do think that he is a strong character. And again, people might disagree with my top 10, but this is my top 10. It's not your top 10, so oh well. So but yeah, Ace, I can definitely appreciate everything that he got, and he is good regardless of what you think. He is good in my eyes. Rubicante, for him being a strong fire counter tank, like very good character overall. He is able to heal the party. His FR is best against heavy enemy turns for easy increase, and then his BT provides an additional counter attack, so that'll increase his HP damage bonus while his FR is active much faster. Like Rubicante. Also one thing to add on onto that is that he has an aura to make it so that everybody attacks him. So he does not have a locked debuff that you have to like worry about making sure that it stays on the enemy. Like everybody is going to consistently attack him. So it benefits him as well, because he will be able to gain that increase in the HP damage bonus. So overall, like Rubicante is such a fantastic character. Very strong character at that, and especially with FR Echo, will help out greatly. And like if you were to stack FR echoes on top of while his FR ability is active, and you stack the FR echoes, like it'll increase pretty fast. And again, like his FR is more so going up against heavy enemy turns and whatnot. So like definitely a character to consider later down the line for anybody who is, you know, taking this as like a poor planning video. But he is very much worth picking up, a lot of fun to use, and a great character overall. And then finally, we're going to talk about some honorable mentions. Now, like I mentioned at the beginning of the video, like I can't fit every single character who has gotten FR boards and whatnot, or characters who don't even have FR boards. Like every character so far as of late, and some of the characters who have been released maybe like, I don't know, like 5-6 months ago, there are some of those that are still very much viable. Yeah, they got to be backed up by FR Echo, so that way their damage output can be strong when going into like the BT phase or whatever. But like overall though, like a lot of these characters as of late have gotten such strong reworks that like it's hard to put them in a list, and it's also a bit hard to be able to like rank them or whatever. So this is why like I added this honorable mentions, and at the same time I mentioned that like, hey, like I can't like it's hard to put all of these characters all together in the list, because like all of them are very, very good. So the honorable mentions, we have Zack, Setzer just recently got his FR and BT, Ursula, Tifa, Sarah, Warrior of Light, Squall, and Neon. Like all of these characters, like they would be in my top 10, but like with all like the changes and whatnot that a lot of these other characters have gotten recently, you know, like every character is different in their own way, and like I look at it as like which character would benefit me the most, and also like which characters can I actually use for said Shinryu fight, because like I'm not gonna be using like 3 out of my top 10 characters all the time in every single Shinryu. So like I like to mix things up a bit, and I like to have variety of characters who can do different things. And so because of that, I decided to add these characters as honorable mentions. Now, because you don't see a character that you are a fan of, or because you don't see a character that you think that deserve to be in my top 10, like I don't want you thinking that like they are bad or anything like that, because a lot of these other characters who have gotten like FR boards, who have gotten reworks, so on and so forth, like they are very strong characters. Like they have their uses as well, and they have not like fallen off, in my opinion. Like what Square Enix has done as of late, and at least from what I have noticed, is that a lot of these characters, they make it so that way these characters do not fall off, and they have their uses, and I can appreciate that. And you know, some of you guys may not see it that way, but that's just how I see it. So because of that, like if I really wanted to, I could have just put the whole list of the Obsidian Compendium's website onto this slide and be like, here you go, right? But obviously I'm not going to do that, because that would just be silly. To be the whole point of this video is to talk about like my favorites, you know, not where they stand in the middle or anything like that. It is my favorites. So but yeah, all of these characters right here are some honorable mentions that I would use a whole lot more and whatnot. And again, I mean, there's no need to repeat myself. I mean, like I feel like I've already like explained everything and how I see characters currently in the game. So, but other than that, though, guys, that's pretty much gonna be it for the video. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments section below. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, do all the good stuff, and a big thank you to all of my members once again for the continuous support. I will catch you guys in the next one.